Hello friends, how are you? Welcome to the Japan Study Center. Today we are going to see the chapter of geography and what is our topic today? Tropical and temperate cyclone. There is a most important topic here. Tropical and temperate cyclone. What do you mean here? The temperate cyclone and tropical. There is important. The first point here, air mass. What is the air mass here? On the air mass is a extensive protection of the atmosphere having to the uniform characteristics of temperature, pressure and moisture which are relative to the homogeneous is a horizontally. There is important here. I repeat again. On a air mass is extensive protection of the atmosphere having a uniform characteristics of temperature and pressure and moisture and which are relative to the homogeneous horizontal. They are important. On the air mass revolve when the air over a vast and relative to uniform land or ocean is a surface is remain stationary for a long time to acquire the temperature or moisture from the surface. The major source reason of their air masses are their high latitudes, polar of low latitudes, tropical relation habits such a homogeneous condition. The air mass therefore are of the two kind of polar and tropical air masses. The polar air mass is a cold and tropical air mass is a warm. When a cold air mass and warm air mass blow against each other, there is a boundary lines of their convergence separating the two air masses is a term as a front. When the warm air mass move to the upward over to the cold air mass, the front forward in such a situation is called warm front. One of the contrasts is when to the cold air mass advance to the faster and undercut the warm air mass and force the warm air upward. The front so is a form it is called cold front. The frontal surface of cold front is a steeper than that of the warm front and given a figure. Variables is a air mass in any regions polar, tropically and maritime or the continental is largely controlled to region journal of weather. There is important here. Tropical cyclone or apical is an arrangement of isobar having a low pressure at the center with the convergence of wind within them. The wind is a direction in the cyclone is anti-clockwise in the northern hemisphere and clockwise is the southern hemisphere. There is an important point, note down your copy. There is cyclone is anti-clockwise in the northern hemisphere and clockwise in the southern hemisphere. Cyclone are two types. The temperate is a mid-altitude cyclone and tropical are low-latitude cyclone. There is important and here important diagram show in this here. A cyclone is a low pressure and anticyclone is a high pressure here and cyclone is a low but anticyclone is a high. There is a most important altitude here. The first point here, temperate cyclone. What do you mean to hear the temperate cyclone? The temperate cyclone are formed along a front in the mid-altitude between to the 35 degree and 65 degree north and south. There is important here a mid-latitude between 35 to the 65 north and south. And they below for base to the east and are more pronounced in the winter season. There is important here temperate cyclone. An Atlantic Ocean is there is a northern West Europe are major region of temperate cyclone. They are generally extensive having a thickness of 9 to 11 kilometer. There is the most important thickness here a 9 to the 11 kilometer and with the 1040 to the 1920 kilometer short and long diameter respectively. There is important here the 1040 to 1920 kilometer short and long diameters respectively. The each such a cyclone alternate with a high pressure anticyclone and the weather associated with the cyclone is a drizzling rain and of the cloudy nature for a number of days. The anticyclone is a weather is a sunny, clear and cold wave. There is an important point here. The weather associated with the cyclone is a drizzling rain of the cloudy nature for a number of days. The anticyclone weather is a sunny, clean of cold wave. That is important here. The next here, tropical cyclone. There is the most important tropical cyclone. Tropical cyclones are formed along the zone of confluence of northeast and southeast trade wind. That is important. And this zone is known as the intertropically convergence. Is a zone means ITCZ. That is important here. Intertropical convergence zone ITCZ. Cyclones generally occur in the Mexico, Southwest and North Pacific Ocean. The North Indian Ocean is the South Pacific Ocean, and this cyclone is different from temperate cyclone in many ways. There are no clear, warm and cold front as the temperature set home and differ in the intertropically convergent zone, and they do not have a well-defined pattern of winds and the energized by the conventional is a current within them. Generally, these are the slow is a depression and the velocity of wind is a big, and these are not accompanied by the anticyclone. The arrangement of isobar is almost circular. That is important. And these are not extensive and have the diameter of 160 to 640 kilometer. That is the most important diameter here. However, a few of them become a very violent and causes the destruction in the region of their influence. And there is called the hurricanes in the Caribbean Sea and typhoon in the China, Japan and Philippines. Here show the temperate and tropical cyclone. There is the most important and different part of different cyclone here show. The June, October, November, January, but there is a India here side is June, October, November and then March. There is the most important cyclone arrive here. But other side is equator is a June and October. There is the most important here. The track temperate cyclone is the most important and track of the tropically cyclone here. Tropically cyclone often to the cause or destruction on the coasts. Would we have a heard to cyclone striking India is a coastal in the summer and autumn month, and the case of heavy loss of life and property in this region. The step of pressure gradient of causing strong high velocity wind and territorial rainfall bursting upon a restricted area and combined to be create destructive storms. However, about 8 to 48 kilometer. The area around their center is called ice of this stormy cyclone remain calm and rainless. If this ice is detected, it is possible for the modern science to be stopped further development of this is a strong cyclone and thus the protecting us from them. The important point here is the most important. On the air mass is a large body of air having uniform temperate and moisture contents. And second point here important, the boundary line separating two air masses is a term as a front. And the next here, temperate cyclone are prevalent in the mid altitude where the tropical cyclone develop in a tropical region. There is a important point for the exam view.